I'm gonna have a look at another BMP-2 kit here, and also I'm gonna have a look at the star decal sheet, which was just recently released for a BMP-2. The kit that I'm going to be looking at is the Trumpeter Models 1/35th scale Russian BMP-2 IFV, or Infantry Fighting Vehicle, and this is pretty much the definitive BMP-2 kit like of anyone's released. I don't know why more people don't do this vehicle, because it's one of the most prolific vehicles like probably built in history. The number of them built and the conflicts they've been in, and like there's just so many of them, yet we don't really have anything but an ancient kit by Dragon Models, which was re-released by Zvezda, and then we have this kit here, which is it's the best because like there's no, you don't have really any other option. So we're going to go into this kit and see what it actually looks like, and we'll have a look at the box, which you get like a blurb here on the side, and then you've got multiple different decal options, all kinds of them. It looks like there's at least 6, and when I go through the instructions, we'll look at them. I won't go through them here. And small photo etch sheet, and then we have the artwork, and the kit number is 05584. And on the other side, you just get the I don't know if this is more options or if it's just a reverse of the other side, and then the Chinese write-up there. Before I open it, I want to look at the star decal sheet. They've been putting out a number of interesting subjects, like from the they call it the War and Conflicts Special Operations in Ukraine. That's basically the series, and this is part 20, so there's quite a few different ones, but this is the BMP-2 of the like the Russian forces. They give us some really neat options, but there is no like references to who's it actually is, like what unit or anything, or even where. It's got just basically a date showing us, but there's some interesting ones on here. You can see some of them have like they're missing the like the side skirting, which is very interesting. They did pretty good research on their vehicles here. Interesting here. And our decals look something like this. So it's pretty extensive, and they've done what they could to minimize the carrier film, which is nice. But their decals lay down really well if you put a set. I found they work really well. So that's enough about the sheet. This is a good option for a modern one. And we will go into this and see what we actually get. So I guess I'll go into the other pieces later. We'll get right into the plastic. So you can see there's interior in here, but the like the interior ring and pieces here in the bottom of the turret. But here's the lower front hull. You can see the bolts and everything. And here's the gunner sight. It's going to be detailed pretty nice. Again, I believe this is the I think this is the inside of the lower hull. I'm not positive. And then the rear doors, which I've criticized in the past for them having the little thing closed here. You should have had an option to open that. And then your engine transmission cover here. And more pieces here. The insides of the doors here, which are pretty nice. Pretty well detailed. It looks like you get, like, I guess these must be carryovers from different kits, because there's multiple like gunner sights here, and this is just a repeat sprue. You've got like the axle covers here, and the seats, and there's really no detail on the seats. They're just plastic, which is fine. I mean, that's kind of what they look like in real life anyways. They're just pretty much solid So there's that. And then we have more interior details. A lot of interior details with raised rivets. Various pieces here. You can see that. And then we have our suspension, which is a very nice suspension, very well done. And here's the wheels and sprockets and the doors for the upper deck, which looks like they sort of have some detail if you want to leave them open. And then our wheels, which are pretty excellent. You've got the hubs here. I kind of wish they would have done these hubs on the like the opposite way they did them, because you have to still paint the rubber on the outside. But their wheels are very very nicely done, and you can see the detail on the wheels. And we've got another pack of those. And this, I believe, is different than the BMP-2 D kit that they had, is the side skirting. You can see here, nothing big on the inside, but fairly nicely detailed. And then we have the little applique armor for the turret. And you can see all the bolt head detail, very nicely detailed, the bolt heads. And nothing much on the inside. I'll do the tracks last, but you can see what we can have open here obviously is our main hatches and then the engine cover. I don't believe that I didn't see an engine in there. And then the rear deck here, and our periscopes. And you could have the sides open, I guess, if you want. The detail on the engine decking here is quite nice, and you can see the hatch detail, how nice it is on here. They did a really good job. And then we'll go to the lower hull. Again, super detailed. All of these Trumpeter kits, super detailed the lower hull. So if you wanted to have one flipped over, you almost want to do one flipped over because you get to see all the excellent little details in there. And then I like that they've molded the rear section on there. You don't have to actually put it on. And then the inside. And we'll move on to the turret. Which the turret, I'm not sure if you can leave that applique armor off. You can see how it's on the top here. I think you pretty much have to have it. But there's our turret. I mean, if for some reason it was off a vehicle that you were doing, at least you have the option to leave it off. You can see the complex shapes and things on here that they've done. And then we have our glass work, which is pretty much just going to be our periscopes. And there's just a ton of them on here. But, they're periscopes, so I can't say anything good or bad about them. They just kind of are what they are. And we have our decal sheet here. You've got, I don't want to really pull it out, but you've got instruments, like a decal for your instruments here, which you probably will never be able to see, but at least you can use that. And we have a small photo etch. This is nice that you have a pretty minimal amount of photo etch. Anyone should be able to work with something like this. Then we have our tracks. Which look pretty nice. I mean, they've got like a weird set in them, but you should be able to get that out of them. It shouldn't be a big deal. The only thing is these are your only option. It doesn't have regular tracks, so you're pretty much stuck with this. Also, there should be quite a gap in these. Like if you see between this should be actually an open space, which is kind of a drawback. Like I would probably prefer these tracks to building them myself, but these should have a gap in there. There's quite a big gap in there. It's like noticeable. Really, other than that, I can't say anything really bad about them. Like they're usable, and it's a lot easier than doing link tracks. But that's something to consider if you are super detailing it. To maybe link tracks are the way to go, but these are still usable. It's nice to see band tracks like for modern kits and that. We don't tend to see them anymore. And then I will have a look before I go into the instructions at our decal options, because you get a ton of options. So our paint guide here is actually calling out for Ammo MIG paints, which is kind of unique. I'm assuming Ammo MIG must have done a collaboration with them to study these vehicles because the amount of subjects in here is quite amazing. But you can see the colors here, what they're calling for. Our first vehicle is obviously original Soviet era vehicle with the white trim for the parades. And then we have an interesting one here, which is the Georgia conflict with in South Ossetia there, which is one of these ones with the peacekeeper markings, the distinctive MC that they carried on their vehicles, the Russian peacekeepers. Kind of a nice looking vehicle there. Sort of a forgotten conflict, and you get an option there. And then we get a Ukraine, it says Donetsk area from July 2014, and it says Stefan Bandera Ukrainian forces, which would be the pro-Western forces, but that's which Stefan Bandera is basically the Ukrainian like the mustache man from World War II, and for them to include this is kind of strange why they would include that in the kit. But this kit came out long before the Russian involvement in the war, so I guess they didn't care so much back then. And we see here another Donetsk area 2014 Ukrainian forces vehicle, which are kind of interesting subjects, the way they've done their camouflage on there. I'm not sure why they picked the vehicles they did. Here's another. It's not really telling us much, but more Ukrainian. These are the pro-Western Ukrainian vehicles. Again, you can see the Ukrainian flag. Now, I'm not sure why they picked those, because like they could have just done a special edition of this vehicle, because there's so many options in here. Here's the Afghan War Soviet vehicle and an East German vehicle, and then there's a bunch of Chechen War vehicles, which are super nice. This one here is actually another Ukrainian forces vehicle with a real unique camouflage on it, and a Syrian Republican Guard vehicle, very neat, and a first Gulf War vehicle. This is the options you get in here, and they aren't just like changing the roundel on them. They're actually like extensive decals on. This is an excellent kit just for the decal options. You almost didn't need the star decal sheet for this kit, but it looks all right. I mean, it's the best option you're going to have. We'll just flip through the instructions here a bit, and see you've got most of an interior in here. You can see the seats there. It looks like I don't know why they leave the engine compartment open on there. It's nice they did, like over here, but you don't get an engine in there. And you can see here, you can have the piece flipped up for the forwarding, and lots of details inside of your turret. So you'll leave the hatches open, and your missile on top. look here. Final assembly shows us our vehicle, which is pretty interesting. Because it's the only one out there, this is definitely the one to get. I would not get the Dragon release. The price point this kit comes in, it's worth spending you know, $10-20 more and get this vehicle than that old vehicle. The decal options are absolutely amazing in this. That you definitely want to have a couple of these because there's so many cool options right in the box. And yeah, there's not much more I can say about it. Looks like a fantastic kit, and thank you for watching.